但这种是不充分过的，逻辑理解给，确实很多人现在没那么难了。上边他说是俺老婆给他来我说那些，上边他说是了，公公的这种是充分的，公公也是的，确实很多人现在是个老婆怕那么的来的，充分的。现在确实很多人情愿的，你讲逻辑这个上到都是送到的冲啥，的因为这公给钱呢，公给钱的现在这下个把多都记些。不过去就是吹点钱的适当的高比，别像这个一个季节开呢，怕把你的这个的。
And when Yamantaka said to Church to Rinpoche, saying in next the year at the same at this time of the month, the IP on that side of the river and so forth, and then Tsongkhapa was born at the right time, and then as as Yamantaka said, and then Church to Rinpoche also knew that Tsongkhapa is now born in the Kumbum area, and then Tsongkhapa sent the many blessed pills which are covered by a dough in this flower dough, and also one letter to saying that parents should look after the child. So this letter and blessed pills covered by the flower dough were sent to the parents of Tsongkhapa.
他这人不是过初年说不起个，不过去就也不是哪些，我不要这个，该老家我要这个，实际同居年我看这个，这人说嘛从谁去别这里家我要这个，他们是天天想要个别，不过去就别过不着，早晚年的要嘛的，别根本都几个说的不钱别，这边过不早晚年的没看，我到这里几个别，基本上别原来刚刚让些是有点不起哦，我都送到就那边开不起来才是。 我都送给高头人不有，就的路是先过来了，假如可能前面往学呢，现在说嘛，可能前面别大家钱蛮用的。
And unlike other the children, when the Tsongkhapa was born, and he didn't disturb his parents, and he didn't cry and saying I want this food, I wanted that drink, but he he really behaved like adults. And when Tsongkhapa was about 3, and then Tsongkhapa received the empowerments of the Vajrapani, the Maha Chakra, and since Tsongkhapa has received this empowerment on the Maha Chakra Vajrapani, and then Tsongkhapa had never forgotten to recite that sadhana.
아니 중조관에 고성 도된 유산의 차체한다 제법 표현한다 배셔로야 한다 어디 내려도 산에 제스 띵부 동거 말이야 그런 방식에서 지내지요.
And in his the very childhood, no one had to teach him to read the texts, to study things. He himself has done all these things, such as making prostrations and offerings.
저번에제 용지 준세제 세월 준세 세월 근소 그네 세배 로그 주세다 나양 로바 방어서 네 소치죠 고통들이 연년에 제가 되주고 몸에 소진 쪽에 되면 저번도 치고 봐요 공부 도된 줄로 소원데 고 연주게 연대데 다들 졸라 말로 도스 주스지 가카다 다 찬도도 시다시다 러고 말이야 네 리바상签되는 거 다들 졸라가 가카도보다 수시라를 네 러고 마종
And no one has actually teach the alphabets. The Tsongkhapa had knew and learned these alphabets by his own understandings.
I think I can say just about him. Number Taban, the Congo Nada, no do none. A mutation to a model, part of the root, and the much Tamako and Senko, the house of town, Conjantamaji, which had also a telecosi today in some around to share Toya and Yantoya Yomari. 친구 저는 내가 제겐다 대화 요게 요나니 무슨 제로시 나다 배션 선배 다쳐요. 대변 용어 노위는 요요리. 또스마도 요 말이야. 야 나다 친구 노위 있는 나다 친구들 다 부딪히 요리. 다 들려 예워지 요리 배셨다. 야가래 요삼에
and they are the all the teachings and all the deeds of Tsongkhapa are contained within the three. Firstly, one should listen to the teaching, and then one should contemplate on the teachings, and then one should meditate and meditate on this teaching. Finally, one should dedicate all these things in order to promote Buddha Dharma, and also we should try to copy Tsongkhapa's lives and deeds and try to put into the practice. And at the same time, we should try to recite the Mikzema, and we should try to read their biographies. There are several biographies of Tsongkhapa. One is known as Debe Jungo, means the gateway for the faithful ones. And there's another biography of Tsongkhapa, which is quite elaborate. And there's another one which is more elaborate, even more elaborate.
Just my order. Generation second, Jawangabari. Jawangabas on generation, Allah, children of children to law. Benjam Lado Sembe, German Shu, Pondon Gini, Jichu, Monsuda, Mayerin Zi, Long Leonway, Kandu Kalon to the Damba Yin, so at the Long Junction. Senator is a Pisharama, Pishame. Jadanda, it's a Pishayo, Mero, Garjin, and Mizama Trisha. The fisherman is over him. Gadella Coran with the Shishag, and you would have to use sending high, loud with something. And
now follows about the commentary to the Mikzema, and there are several articles or commentaries to the Mikzema, such as the commentaries composed by fifth Dalai Lama, known as the clear illumination of the meaning of the words, and some of the quotations of that work by fifth Dalai Lama are cited here in the text that I'm using, and I myself don't have the actual text of this the commentary to the Mikzema by the fifth Dalai Lama.
Then Nila Benjamin Lado Sembe, German Shu, Pesha Dabo make a use of me. Have a kid of it, Lavali Leuna, Telaba table. Talk with the Chini Chung, Yen, Zever, Mamma Jubilee, Yenny Show is a Chujun Yoma, Jim every shoe. Jim every tree inside the shed, Chelo Yoma, Corona Sushi Sayoma, Passion, Chelo Yoma.
And if you find in a text or book which is blown by the wind and so forth, and which does not have a lineage and the transmission, and then even if one reads the practice the teachings in accordance with that book, which has no lineage, and then one will not receive any of the blessings. And therefore it is said that if you want to practice the teachings of the book which has no lineage, it's like pouring pouring from emptying pot into an emptying pot. So just as if you try to pour something from empty pot into an empty pot, there is nothing to be poured because it's empty. In a similar way, if we practice the teachings which have no lineage, and then the person who explained that teaching will not receive any important lessons, and not just the practitioner of that teaching which does not have lineage will not receive any benefits. And in Tibet, before Tsongkhapa was appeared in Tibet, this Dharma which does not have lineage was flourished. And especially there are tantras which actually does not have any scriptural references. And at one time, the Mantikas who claimed they are the attentive practitioners, they wrote they wrote that false and attentive teachings, and they are while they were writing these false the teachings on mantra, and then these Mantikas, attentive practitioners, asked the wives to make tea while they were making the tea, and then the practitioners who claimed they were practitioners then wrote these false teachings on the secret mantra, and all this the Dharma which doesn't have any pure lineage were already eliminated long before long before, or when the first promotion of the Buddhism was developed in Tibet, and later on Atisha came to Tibet, and Atisha also eliminated this the teaching, which does not have any the trace of lineage, and later on when Tsongkhapa born, and then Tsongkhapa also promoted pure the Dharma, then purer than the time of Atisha, and especially at the time of Tsongkhapa, he rectified, clarified many the pure teachings from non-pure teachings. At the time of Tsongkhapa, when people see a text which says written by Indian commentaries, let's say there are 21 commentaries, Indian commentaries to the ornament for the clear realizations. When the students see that the title it is by Indian Pandics, they immediately believe, but actually some people that changed the title, but the contents were just awful of things. And then later on Tsongkhapa discovered it, and then he went through all the manuscripts, and then he rectified many he rectified the teachings of Indian commentaries. So when we are writing the text, we must have the three courses, three perfect courses of writing. One is having the skill in it, 5 in the science. If one cannot be, if one is not mastered in all the 5 science, then one must be the skill in the subject matter that one is dealing with. So if one does not know the text, then how can one explain this to others? So one must not fully master with the text that one is dealing with. And the next is that he seeing the face of personal deity and hearing the speech of the deity. And then the third is that the text must have the pure lineage all the way from our teacher Shakyamuni to Buddha up to the present teachings. If these three were lacking, and then the text books then these are considered not to be very substantial in the text. And we should now it's better if I don't cite and quote what $50 Lama is saying.
The jury Zido, Yadabazu Sanji Juicy, Yado Chanima, Jabayan Jury, Nizama Jabayan Jury, so in Bawadoji, Ma Juvati, the elation. And it was using Tomal, Kazan, and Jason, the next name of Jade, the Emma Jenny, and the Giant Zenigu, no, no, you need your soul violation. Need to a jewel. A young other Balulayo. Ele San and Lizala. Tambachi Nijibu Dambeshi, no Satan Kalan Ching, my years, that Tatalame, Inima Shed, Sabu, soon Sabu journey, Kalan Chema, my year, which is in so much. There are the email to you, there is a very funny story. See, really, turns of Sunday turns to Namnebo to Long to do so, Nini to Tara, Shabby Hungage, so Judah. Young. Someone to my singing, no power singing. Tobalong doing the totally shower shadow, and the woman so much.
And
Shabby Hungage, Shamu pay the Hungos who pay the governor, my liver is.
And the 50 Dalai Lama they mentioned the lineage gurus of this Victima all the way from Navadara up to Bhagavadoji and Manjushri Bhagavadoji and Tsongkhapa up to the 50 Dalai Lama, and one of the previous lives of previous the guru or life of the late Kyabje Rinpoche and so forth. And saying this, then in his the 50 Dalai Lama said this Mitsuma, the transmission or the lineage didn't develop from or didn't discover from the underground, nor is it discovered and developed from the space, and also this Mitsuma lineage is not developed through the power of the gathering the winds at the hearts.
The church, Lama Ganesh was the National and the way.
So let's say if Lama is giving too much teachings, if let's say one student asks a question, Lama, where did you receive this teaching from? And replying like this, I don't know where I received this. And then if one has a teacher like this, then maybe this Dharma is not something which is good. So there are many teachers who teaches this Dharma, and they are the beings who write books. And the Dharma practitioners, Western Dharma practitioners, also like to receive the teachings from these teachers.
And there's one doing the Shabby Hungry to Soju Damachi teaching. Yahoo Jisu Lumba, Pakam Prima Simba, Nabu Dajin Domala Chimian, Nigamji, Nanchala Yambachu, Mesa Jubia Goma, Bashiki, Kadir Natsu Sibi, Lochu, Richichi Sileti, Namba 10 in the Sombe. Gedenia Juji, Damba Summon, did your Java in Now, that is yet the Sebuam. That is Tambo. That's in the shooting minute and another Yabuchi, Yasa Nevina, 진주 나서 주지 주가 벌마치 예주 세마지네 도바 세메시 로자 세메 네 주 조신 세메 야소나도 도바 주를 총 근데다 세메 때라 법 어디 내 중에 지고 요리마도 내신 야소나만 용해 도바 주를 지만 용해 수지 고만 용해지 사바지에 세모디 사시 아사제네 쟤네들 이제 좀만 용해지 추진년에 쟤는 도바 주를 지만 용해지
And we should now maintain this practice of the Miksema period because it is full in the lineage and transmission of the teachings. And if we without the having any lineage and the transmission of teachings, if we handle on to any practice of teaching, it's just not a pure lineage, and then one we which is teaching or practice which is never developed in the past, and then one we gain in the realizations which were never gained in the past.
Lame nenjo de jedu jeba chena lama chubari esa neju luba chena gadya haja siju ni yo
And the most elaborate the Guru Yoga is that Lama Chepa offering to the spiritual guide, and this Lama Chepa is in accordance with the answer system, and this and another Guru Yoga of is that Gandel Hakyama, or the hundreds of the deities of the joyful land, which is in accordance with the system of Sekyu.
Dandela Chino Lame Neju La Gadel Haja Lama Chub Sev Mari Kane Ina Lame Neju Tudu Lame Neju Lame Neju Haka Samu Tongu Yone Hatida Rame Lama Mu Yeme to Samu Tone Ati Ndu the Chat say Chuba Pusuata Terechigi in Lame Neju.
And in general, there are more in the Guru Yogas than these two, Gandel Hajama and Lama Chepa. There are more, and for instance, if you are doing a succession yoga, this is also has also the Guru Yoga, and regarding that the deity is inseparable from one's Guru, is then also the Guru Yoga.
Rana Chu was a song and the Lamas, Jun Mayum, Juva Lamar, Sajuji Lamas, Sanjay, Rami Lana Badela, Juba Bamasha Yunkendi, Lama Tessu.
And any teacher, any spiritual guide from whom you receive the teachings directly is the root in the Guru, and the spiritual guide from whom you can receive the teachings directly is a lineage in the Gurus.
Sanjay Nezoma Chigivel, Dama Parmachid Mayum Sajuva Lamache. Ranga Amdo Nalamus shaken Lamache. Ranga Zara Lama the Shinya takes to Suja to ten. I seen the Shinya to just Shingdua, Yaman, Shiki, Amareti, I sing Yori. You know, either Shinya to Savateva, Sunday takes to Judas to Nietzsche.
And as the two gurus, and so root guru and leading gurus, and then when we because we have the gurus, so we must rely on gurus. And now you know about the way to rely on spiritual guide. Previously, I don't teach about this guru yogas. So that is the good way to rely on spiritual guide has two, and rely on spiritual guide in the action, and rely on spiritual guide in thought. And the way to rely on spiritual guide in thought has two sections, and training in the faith, which is the root of the path, and then two is remembering the kindness of the spiritual guide, and then to develop the respect to one's spiritual guide.
That's all the Vajama that Sajas Taguvis and Taguvis such a jam voice. When I got the Hajam, which you told me about them, Jeremy said, Jeremy said, Lamachi, Chico Mahimba. Yama Toba Umbu, Zumajima, Jemma Lama Yunzo, Iran Kangalucha, Seven Lama Sangalucha, Juva Lama Kangalucha, 예당 상제 장세 바고 가로 추중 수마 저기 강가 지류베 점이 많이 번들 아니 인바 너버체니 어디서 저송 군주이 선배 대버체는 시제 정의 루루도 계산하게 제주 답이 도저 정보는 나차체에서야지 어디 잡아 대버점 어디 지수 좀 그거 좀 대성
And these are the training in the faith, which is the root of the practice, and the remembering the kindness of the spiritual guide and developing respect are included within this the practice. If we visualize in that Tsongkhapa in front of us, and thinking that this Tsongkhapa is now the synthesis of the lineage gurus all the way from Shakyamuni Buddha, and also Tsongkhapa is the synthesis of my the directing the gurus, and also one should regard that Tsongkhapa is the synthesis of all the objects of the refuge. And with this, thinking that the Tsongkhapa synthesis of all the gurus of the root and direct and lineage gurus, and then even developing the respect to him, and then this has the two sections of the way to rely on a spiritual guide in the action in thought. And having visualized that Tsongkhapa is the synthesis of all the objects of refuge, and then we should recite this and this that saying that your minds, and we should also say this. Your minds understand the full extent of objects of knowledge, and your eloquent speech is the ornament of the fortunate ones, and your beautiful forms blessed with the glory of fame. I approach to you, whom to behold and hear and remember is meaningful. Now.
시제 정의 자체가 저에서 차가지 돼요. 그디 자유식을 잘지요. 다 나중에 저거 영신나서 물어다 되게 녀버리는 표어디 대성이요.
And the making
내가 좀 용도 위까지 주고 된디디요. 제가 신이 라면내죠 세야디. 나도 아니 라마 사제 이만 도시 전에 대바치 돈을 라면내죠 세야디. 리버.
And making offerings such as flowers and so forth is the way to rely on spiritual guide in action. And if we practice the whole seven-limited prayer or seven-limited practices, and then we have the served, we have offered the service to the guru, and then especially if we have faith in the spiritual guide or teacher. And then this serves in the Guru Yoga. So the meaning of Guru Yoga is then having developed faith and devotion to spiritual guide. And visualizing visualizing Tsongkhapa in the space before us on a throne, and if we leave and forget the teacher spiritual guides from whom we receive the teachings directly, and then we had not done we have not done the practice of way to rely on spiritual guide, and also we have not fulfilled the Guru Yoga.
Ramone, Chine de Zunage, Salo de Tonchena. Des hommes de Sanjay, Saint-Jacques, Zeva Salo de Titona, or des other Samoya Kuchio. Sanjay Taji, Chabago, Santon, and Vayandagio.
And we should now contemplate their reasons why the gurus, the spiritual guides, and the Buddhas, and we should check what our present spiritual guides are doing and what actions are doing, and also it is very important to contemplate the enlightened activities of the enlightened beings.
Then Raga Nalang give up about the Saludona, Janto Julungoyagi, Totsochi.
And if
I don't
one
have a generation how I do net to trust you as you think about the Guyachi. She didn't see the Jabuya, which is Majena. And long as over the chair already, Messi Shinete to Masha Guyadi, Kolote de Violinza, Shinete position, no room of the review of it. Just at the Atasa.
And if we contemplate that and understand that our appearances are not fixed, and through this understanding, then we can overcome the seeing the faults at the teachers, and there are many other the reasons that we can see the good qualities, or why we should see the good qualities of the teachers. And in the past, and the time was not rich to explain about the Guru Yoga, because people may misunderstand about the Guru Yoga.